Aloha, everyone, and welcome back to Living in Power Today. I'm Susan Peters Chesley, your ASD Master Coach, and growing in self acceptance of my own ASD traits, just like you. In this series, we're exploring what cognitive distortions are, how they develop, and their impact on our daily lives. So today, we're tackling all or nothing thinking. It's a common cognitive distortion, whether you're neurotypical or neurodiverse, which leads to extremist thinking uh, called black and white thinking. If you've ever felt like something has to be perfect or it's a total failure, this episode is for you. So let's explore how to break free from this mindset once and for all and learn to live a balanced thought life. The first thing I want to cover is what thoughts are, how they develop and roll around in our heads. This is called the CBT triangle. So let's talk about how thoughts affect behaviors, leading to maladaptive feelings, extremist or toxic beliefs, and create chaos in our life. So we start with the thoughts. Thoughts control our feelings. Our feelings influence our actions, and our actions enforce our thoughts. So perpetuating this cycle of never-ending chaos. The cycle can only be broken through intervention. So this is your intervention session here, and it can be broken. Believe me, I've done it. You can do it too, but it takes time. So your thoughts refer to the cognitive aspect of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. It involves identifying, examining, and challenging your thoughts and beliefs that a person holds about themselves, others, and the world around them. So feelings refer to the emotions we experience in relation to the thoughts and beliefs we hold. By addressing unhelpful thoughts and beliefs, you can work towards regulating your emotional responses. Now, the behavior is influenced by both an individual's thoughts and feelings. So, CBT identifies the maladaptive or dysfunctional behaviors that may be contributing to an individual's distress and provide strategies for behavior modification. So today we're going to talk about all or nothing thinking, which again is the black and white thinking. No middle ground. It's either or. It's very rigid thinking, and it happens when we see themes in extremes with no middle ground. A lot of us may have been taught this type of thinking as we grow up, or because we're on the spectrum, a lot of us naturally have this thinking. Um, Things are either right or wrong. We have a hard time seeing the middle ground or the gray area. It's either success or failure, good or bad, right or wrong, nothing in between. And this type of thinking can really make it hard to accept progress, flexibility, and personal growth. It can also make it really hard to accept yourself as you are. And this is where a lot of our need for validation, a need for perfectionism, and also starts with this all or nothing thinking. So, for an example, I love this little boy eating the cake. Um, Imagine you plan to eat healthy cake, but had a slice of cake. Or you plan to eat healthy, but you had a slice of cake, okay? Instead of seeing it as a small choice, your brain is going to think, Oh my God, I've completely failed at this. So I might as well give up on my diet, right? Um, been there, done that. I used to weigh close to 400 pounds 12 years ago. And this was my thinking. I suffer from bulimia and other eating disorders. Um, it was a balance between bulimia and anorexia. Um, I have that because of my lupus, and lupus also affects your thought patterns and behaviors as well. So, this type of extreme thinking can prevent you from making balanced choices and choices that are sustainable, that you can keep up, throughout your life. Now, all or nothing thinking, like I stated before, can lead to perfectionism, anxiety, and burnout. It makes mistakes feel huge, catastrophic, and successes feel temporary and not as important as they should be. So, for level 1 autistic adults, this mindset may be reinforced by rigid thinking patterns that we've learned before and a dire need for structure. I have to have structure throughout my day, but I've learned to relax my structure. If I miss a part of the day, I'm not going to freak out. Whereas if I were in the all or nothing thinking pattern, I'd just give up for the day. I would just shut down and won't do anything else. Um, you have to catch yourself thinking this and doing this, because flexibility is the key to your emotional resilience. Now, one way to challenge the all or nothing thinking is to practice what I call the gray area approach. Instead of seeing situations as absolute, we can acknowledge the spectrum of possibilities that we have. So ask yourself, when you catch yourself in this pattern, what's another way I can see this situation? Um, because another strategy is both in thinking. Um, for example, I made a mistake and I'm still learning and improving. And oh my God, I have to look at this strategy because I can make a lot of mistakes in my content. But I'm also realizing I'm still learning and improving. So I'm not going to beat myself up as much as I would if I were in the all or nothing thinking pattern. You see what I'm saying? If I were stuck in all or nothing thinking, I would just stop doing content altogether because it's not perfect, because I've made mistakes, because I'm human. But because I'm human, I can still look and say, I'm still learning and I'm improving. Each mistake that we make helps us to improve our actions the next time. So, writing down these middle ground perspectives that you have, or gray area thinking, in a journal can really help rewire your thinking over time. Now, I've spoken to you always about journaling, and I'm going to continue to speak to you about journaling until you decide to either pick up pen and paper or use a tech object of your choice. I choose pen and paper because I like it in my hands. I like to have that control. Um, until you start journaling and seeing the patterns in your thinking on a daily basis, because you're going to go back and review the week. Until you start journaling, you're going to stay in these maladaptive thinking patterns. So if you're really serious about growing your personal development and changing your life for the better, and eliminating as much chaos as possible within yourself, you're going to take these steps. Okay, I'm encouraging you today that these do work. I've been doing cognitive behavioral therapy on myself for the past 5 years. But I also went through therapy, oh my gosh, starting at 27. I'm 65 today. But I'm going to tell you, none of those therapists used CBT on me. It was medication. I was misdiagnosed. Um, a lot of blame on me. They didn't understand cultural backgrounds. And I left therapy sessions feeling worse about myself than I did when I walked in there. Now, I'm not knocking therapists, but you have to find the right one whose biases aren't coming through onto you, because it happens. We're human, and the therapists aren't perfect either. So, their untreated biases will come through in their in the sessions. But 13 years ago, just 13 years ago, I came upon the last therapist that I ever went to. Um, she used CBT on me. Within the first 15 minutes of our session, I had aha. And so I know this works because I'm living proof. My family is living proof because my behaviors have changed with how I relate to my children and how I relate to other family members that I'm in contact with. Um, and it improved my whole life. I wake up every morning happy. I wake up every morning looking forward to doing the work here, looking forward to working in my garden and playing ball with my dog. I have a balanced day. So um, I'm glad you're here today and letting you know that you don't have to live in the extremes. Again, progress happens in the middle ground. So in the next episode, we'll explore what's called overgeneralization and how you too can avoid making broad assumptions, sweeping assumptions. So, yeah, oh yeah, don't forget to check in the link in the description and the pinned comment for a printable worksheet for you to challenge and become aware of your thought patterns to help you start to break free. Now, when you use this worksheet, I suggest using it every day, putting it down in your task sheet, putting it somewhere up in the day, and taking time out of your day when you come across these thinking patterns. And you're going to use this worksheet throughout the whole session. So I'm going to have it pinned in every post. If you take the time to practice that, you will notice within at least 7 to 10 days that you're catching yourself quicker. You're relating to what's going on. You're like, oh, I'm in all or nothing thinking, or I'm in overgeneralization. And you'll have results. I promise you. You'll have results if you pick up what I'm putting down. All right. So if this resonated with you, feel free to let me know in the comments, please. I love your comments and I will answer them. It may take me a few days because my connection is so, but I get to them. And let me know, how are you managing your thought processes? What's been helping you? And let's support each other through this in our community. So please like, share, and subscribe. And if you're on fan base, hearts are always welcome. And remember, growth is a process, and you're doing great. Give yourself a hand each and every time you get through one of these videos. Give yourself a hand each and time you download the help. And I'll see you next time. Aloha.